All right, let's kick off another deep dive. And today, we're tackling a topic that's got me seriously pumped. You guys have sent in some really incredible sources about the future of AI, and we're going to unpack some seriously mind-blowing predictions about how AI could reshape our world over the next decade. Like, seriously reshape it. We've got Dario Amadei's take, which is super optimistic, a piece from the intelligence age that focuses on the sheer scale of what's coming, and an excerpt from an Italian source that gets into some really specific predictions across various sectors. Like, we're talking nitty-gritty details here.
Yeah, what I find fascinating is how all these sources kind of converge on the same idea. Like, they all point to the fact that the changes we're going to see in the next, 5 to 10 years are going to be unlike anything we've ever experienced before. It's not just, incremental progress. It's a fundamental shift.
Look, we're about to hit warp speed, right? But before we get lost in all the possibilities, what are the key things our listener needs to grasp about what Amadei calls the intelligence age?
Well, first, I think it's crucial to understand the concept of scale, right? We're not just talking about a few clever algorithms here. Amadei envisions a future where AI essentially creates a workforce of brilliant minds capable of tackling problems across multiple domains simultaneously.
So instead of just having one Einstein,
Yeah.
we could have millions of digital Einsteins working 24/7.
Yeah.
That's kind of intimidating, isn't it?
It's certainly awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
And maybe a bit daunting. Who knows? But imagine the potential. Amadei believes that this massive increase in intellectual firepower could compress a century's worth of progress into just a few years. Think about breakthroughs in fields like medicine, energy, even space exploration.
Okay, now that's getting me excited. It's like, remember how different life was before antibiotics? What if AI could help us eliminate cancer, Alzheimer's, or even aging itself? Are we really talking about that kind of potential here?
Yes, those are exactly the kinds of possibilities that are being discussed. Amadei uses the word magic to describe the potential of powerful AI, and it's easy to see why. But he also cautions that even incredibly intelligent AI isn't a silver bullet. There are limits to what it can do, and there are definitely challenges we need to consider.
All right, so let's get real here. What are the limitations of AI? What could slow things down even with all this brain power on our side?
Well, Amadei highlights a few key factors. One is simply the speed of the outside world. Even with superintelligent AI, some things just take time. Think about biological experiments or the construction of new infrastructure. Those processes can't be infinitely accelerated.
So even if an AI can design the perfect bridge in a nanosecond, actually building it is still going to be limited by
the physical world?
Yeah.
The physical world, right?
Exactly. And then there's the issue of data. Even the smartest AI needs data to learn and make predictions. If the data doesn't exist or if it's biased or incomplete, that can limit AI's effectiveness. So it's not just about having brilliant AI. It's about feeding it the right information and understanding the systems it's operating in.
Absolutely. And Amadei points out something else that's crucial. Human limitations, laws, ethics, social norms. These are constraints that even a well-aligned AI would need to respect.
That makes sense. It's like, even if an AI could technically solve world hunger overnight, there might be political or logistical obstacles that prevent that solution from being implemented quickly. But speaking of changing the world, the Italian excerpt goes deep on how AI could reshape our very understanding of work and meaning. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a question that has profound implications. If AI can automate most of the jobs that we consider work today, what does that mean for human purpose and fulfillment? The Italian source suggests that we'll need to rethink our relationship with work in an AI-driven society. It's not a simple question to answer.
It's almost like we're being forced to ask ourselves, what does it mean to be human in a world where machines can do most of the things we do and probably do them better? It's a bit existential, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But Amadei seems pretty optimistic. He believes humans will find new ways to contribute and derive meaning, even in a world where AI is handling a lot of the heavy lifting. He emphasizes that human history is full of examples of people finding purpose in activities that go beyond just earning a living.
So maybe instead of fearing a world without work, we should be excited about a world where we have more freedom to explore our creativity, build relationships, and pursue knowledge for its own sake. Maybe AI could be the key to unlocking a whole new level of human potential.
That's definitely one of the more optimistic scenarios. But let's get into some specifics. Amadei's predictions about AI's impact on healthcare are particularly striking. He talks about compressing 50 to 100 years of medical progress into just 5 to 10 years. That's radical.
Okay, hold on. Let's unpack that.
Yeah.
We're talking cures for cancer, Alzheimer's, potentially even reversing aging itself. Is that really on the table?
Those are the kinds of possibilities being discussed, yes. And the Italian source echoes this optimism, mentioning the potential for personalized medicine and the eradication of infectious diseases. It's a truly revolutionary vision of the future of healthcare.
It sounds almost too good to be true. But even if half of these predictions come true, it would be a game changer for humanity. Let's talk about education. The intelligence age suggests that our children will have personalized AI tutors, tailoring their education to their specific needs and learning styles.
Imagine every child having access to the best possible teacher, regardless of their background or location. That's the potential we're talking about. And it's not just about basic education. AI could revolutionize lifelong learning, professional development, and even our personal pursuits.
Now, that's what I call leveling the playing field. It's like giving everyone a superpower. But of course, we have to talk about the economic implications of all this. All three sources touch on the concerns about job displacement and the potential for AI to widen existing inequalities.
Those are valid concerns. And the Italian source dives into them in some detail. It paints a picture of a potential dystopian future, where a large portion of society is left behind, unable to access the benefits of AI, and facing even greater economic hardship.
That's a pretty stark contrast to the optimistic vision we've been discussing.
Yeah.
But the Italian source also offers some potential solutions, right? Like the idea of a universal basic income to provide a safety net for those whose jobs are automated.
Exactly. It also highlights the need for investment in education and retraining programs to help people adapt to the new job landscape created by AI. And it stresses the importance of strong social safety nets and policies that promote economic inclusion.
So it's not a guaranteed utopia, but it's not an inevitable dystopia either. The outcome depends on the choices we make now, both individually and collectively. But this isn't just about jobs and money, is it? The Italian source also explores how AI could reshape governance, international relations, and even our very understanding of what it means to be human. This is where it gets really interesting.
It is, and I think it's crucial for our listener to understand that these transformations aren't happening in isolation. They're all interconnected. The economic changes, the technological advancements, the social and political implications, it's all part of a single complex narrative that's unfolding at an accelerating pace.
So it's not enough to just understand the technical aspects of AI. We need to think about the bigger picture, the potential consequences and opportunities, and the ethical choices we'll face as a society.
Absolutely. And that's what we'll delve into in the next part of this deep dive, picking up where we left off. One of the most pressing issues raised by the Italian source is the potential for AI to exacerbate existing social problems. Like, if we're not careful, this incredible technology could actually widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots, leading to increased inequality and potentially even social unrest.
That's a sobering thought. It's like we're on the verge of unlocking this incredible power. But if we don't use it wisely, it could backfire spectacularly. Can you give our listener a more concrete sense of what this could look like in their life?
Absolutely. Imagine a scenario where access to AI-powered healthcare is limited to those who can afford it. We could end up with a world where the wealthy have personalized AI assistants monitoring their health 204/7, catching diseases before they even manifest, while others struggle to access basic care or think about education. What if only affluent families can afford AI tutors that give their children a significant advantage in learning and development?
That's a recipe for disaster. It's like we're creating a two-tiered society with the AI-enhanced elite pulling further and further ahead. It seems like the stakes are incredibly high here.
They are. But the Italian source also offers some potential solutions. One idea is a universal basic income, providing everyone with a financial safety net, regardless of their employment status. This could help to mitigate the economic disruption caused by AI-driven job displacement.
Okay, I've heard a lot about universal basic income, but I'm still not entirely sure how it would work in practice. Wouldn't it disincentivize people from working at all? And how would we even pay for it?
Those are legitimate concerns. And there's a lot of debate around the feasibility and potential consequences of a universal basic income. The Italian source doesn't claim to have all the answers, but it highlights the need to have these difficult conversations now before AI reshapes our economy in ways we might not be prepared for.
Like, we need to be proactive, not reactive. We can't just wait for the AI revolution to happen and then try to clean up the mess afterward.
Exactly. And it's not just about financial support. The Italian source also emphasizes the need for robust education and retraining programs to help people adapt to the changing job market. We need to equip people with the skills they need to thrive in an AI-driven world.
So it's not just about handing people money. It's about empowering them to be active participants in this new economy.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it's also about ensuring that the benefits of AI are distributed fairly. We need policies that promote economic inclusion and prevent a small elite from monopolizing the gains of AI. But even with all the right policies in place, there's still the issue of regulation and oversight of AI development itself. This is something Amadei addresses in his Entente strategy.
Okay, let's dive into that. What exactly is the Entente strategy, and why does Amadei think it's so important?
It's essentially a call for democracies to work together to guide the development and deployment of powerful AI. Amadei argues that this is crucial for two main reasons. First, to ensure that AI is used for good, aligned with human value and interests, and second, to prevent authoritarian regimes from gaining a technological advantage that could threaten democratic values and global stability.
So it's not just about building the most powerful AI, it's about building it responsibly and making sure it's used for the right purposes. It almost sounds like we're talking about a new kind of arms race, except instead of nukes, it's AI.
It's a compelling analogy, and Amadei is quite explicit about the need for democracies to take the lead in this race. He argues that authoritarian regimes are likely to use AI for surveillance control and suppression of dissent, while democracies have a better track record of prioritizing human rights and individual liberties. But even within democratic societies, there are concerns about the potential for AI to erode privacy and civil liberties.
Yeah, the Italian source mentions the risks of AI-powered surveillance systems and the potential for misuse by governments or corporations. It's a bit unsettling to think about algorithms constantly monitoring our every move and making decisions that could impact our lives. It feels like we're sleepwalking into a dystopian surveillance state.
It's a valid concern, and one that we need to address head-on. Transparency and accountability are crucial here. We need to understand how AI systems are making decisions, especially when those decisions have consequences for our lives and freedoms. We can't just blindly trust black box algorithms, but while we need to be vigilant about the potential risks, let's not forget about the incredible potential benefits of AI. Amadei, in particular, paints a very optimistic picture of how AI could revolutionize healthcare.
Okay, let's shift gears to the positive side of things. Remind our listener what Amadei predicts in terms of medical breakthroughs.
He believes we could see a 50 to 100-year leap forward in medical science in the next decade alone. Think about cures for cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's diseases that have plagued humanity for centuries. He even talks about the potential for AI to significantly extend human lifespan.
Wow, that's a bold claim. I can see why people get excited about this stuff. It's like, are we on the verge of solving some of the biggest challenges that have faced humanity for millennia? It's almost hard to wrap your head around.
It is mind-blowing, isn't it? And the Intelligence Age piece supports this view, highlighting the potential for personalized medicine, where treatments are tailored to your specific genetic makeup and lifestyle factors.
So instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, we'd have treatments that are as unique as each individual. That's incredible. But what about the cost of all this? Wouldn't personalized AI-powered healthcare be incredibly expensive and only available to the super rich?
That's a legitimate concern, and it circles back to the issue of equitable access that we discussed earlier. If we want these benefits to reach everyone, we need to think about how to make AI-powered healthcare affordable and accessible to all, not just a privileged few.
It's like we're standing at a fork in the road. We can choose the path that leads to a future where everyone benefits from these incredible advancements. Or we can take the path that leads to a future of even greater inequality and division. It feels like the choices we make now will have consequences for generations to come.
You're absolutely right. The stakes are incredibly high. And it's not just about healthcare. AI has the potential to transform virtually every aspect of our lives, from the way we work and learn to the way we govern ourselves and interact with the world around us.
So it's not just about specific technological advancements. It's about a fundamental shift in how we think about ourselves and our place in the world.
Precisely, and that's what makes this topic so fascinating, so challenging. We're not just talking about incremental changes, we're talking about a paradigm shift, a fundamental reordering of our reality.
That's a pretty dramatic way to put it. But I think you're right. It feels like we're standing at the edge of a new era, and we have a choice to make. Do we embrace this future with hope and optimism, or do we cower in fear of the unknown? I'm leaning towards optimism, but I'm also aware of the potential pitfalls.
That's a healthy perspective, I think. We need to be both excited about the possibilities and realistic about the challenges, and that's what we'll continue to explore in the final part of this deep dive.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential for AI to solve some of humanity's biggest challenges, but also the risks of making existing inequalities even worse, and even creating brand new ones. We've discussed the need for responsible development, ethical guidelines, and carefully considering the economic and social impacts of all this. But it still feels like there's so much more to unpack. Like, where do we go from here? What's the next chapter in this story?
That's the big question, isn't it? And while none of us have a crystal ball, I think one of the key takeaways from these sources is that we're not just passive observers in this whole thing. We're not just watching this unfold. We have agency. We have choices to make. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's being shaped right now by the decisions we make both individually and collectively.
So it's not about predicting the future. It's about creating it.
Exactly. And it's both empowering and a little bit daunting, wouldn't you say?
It is. It's like we've been handed this incredibly powerful tool, but we're still kind of figuring out how to use it safely and effectively. And the stakes are incredibly high. I mean, we could use AI to build a better world, or we could end up creating a dystopian nightmare.
Right, and that's why Amadei's emphasis on the Entente strategy is so crucial. He's basically saying that democracies need to get their act together and start working together to make sure that AI is developed and used in a way that benefits all of humanity.
But isn't there a risk that focusing on competition with authoritarian regimes could lead to a kind of AI arms race, where the focus shifts from ethics to just building the most powerful AI, regardless of the consequences?
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to have a real public conversation about this stuff, involving not just the tech people and policymakers, but also ethicists, philosophers, social scientists, and just everyday people. We need to be thinking about the values we want to build into AI and the kind of future we're aiming for.
It feels like we're at a crossroads, right? We're facing these really fundamental questions about what it means to be human in an age of intelligent machines. And the Italian source really dives into this, exploring how AI could reshape how we think about work and meaning.
Yeah, it's a theme that runs through all these sources, I think. If AI can automate most of what we consider jobs today, what does that mean for our sense of purpose? What will we do with all our free time? Will we find new things to be passionate about and feel fulfilled? Or will we just get bored and feel kind of lost?
Right. Some people might love a future where they don't have to work.
Yeah.
Where they can just spend their time doing whatever they're into. But others might find it terrifying to lose the structure and identity that work gives them.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a mix, right? And the Italian source doesn't shy away from the possible downsides. It brings up the possibility of a future where a big chunk of society is left behind, unable to benefit from AI and struggling to find meaning in a world where their skills aren't really needed anymore.
It's a bit of a bleak picture. But it's not inevitable, is it? I mean, Amodei seems to think that humans will find new ways to contribute and create value, even in a world where AI can do a lot of things better than us.
He does. He points out that human history is full of examples of people finding purpose and fulfillment in things that go beyond just being productive. Art, music, literature, philosophy, scientific discoveries, connecting with others, personal growth. These are all things where humans can still thrive, even in an AI-driven world.
So instead of being afraid of the machines taking over, maybe we should be looking forward to the potential for AI to free us from boring work and free up our time and energy to pursue things that are actually meaningful.
That's one way to look at it, for sure. But it's not going to happen on its own. We have to be intentional about creating a future where AI makes our lives better, not worse. And that takes more than just technical know-how. It takes a deep understanding of human nature, a commitment to ethics, and a willingness to have tough conversations about the kind of society we want.
Yeah, that's a big challenge.
Yeah.
But it feels like this is a really important moment in history. The choices we make now about AI will have huge implications for the future of humanity.
I totally agree. And I think this deep dive has shown just how complex this issue really is. There are no easy answers. But one thing's for sure. We can't just sit back and do nothing. We need to be involved, informed, and proactive in shaping the future of AI.
Well said. I think that's a perfect place to wrap up our deep dive. We've explored a lot, from the amazing possibilities to the potential dangers. And I hope our listeners are leaving with a sense of both the excitement and the responsibility that come with this incredible